What's going on, y'all? Podcast 163. We are doing the damn thing this week, baby. I want to say this is like the third episode or fourth episode I've dropped this week. If you're wondering why, it's because, I don't know, man, I just have this urge to do it. I just have an urge. There's not really much thought behind it. It's just an urge to get it done. Obviously it feels good to be able to talk, kind of let out some thoughts. But, yeah, man, just felt like the vibe was kind of right. As you can see, it's raining here in Cincy. 7:08 in the morning. On my way to work. It's Friday though, baby. Thank the Lord. No, this week hasn't been too bad. It's been really quick, actually. And sometimes that's a good thing, especially when you're going to work. But, it is what it is. So, I took my walk yesterday at the park, 4 in the morning. Actually, you know what? I got there at 5 yesterday, so, it wasn't as dark out. It wasn't as spooky, but, still fun. And then I'm glad I got it in because today it's raining, and I'm not too sure if it's supposed to rain all weekend, but yeah, man, it's coming down, and it's kind of a vibe, honestly. I like rain in the morning. I don't know why. There's something about it that just kind of, it's peaceful, like a thunderstorm during the day. Something about it that's peaceful. Especially when you're at work. You're in the office. You're kind of going through the motions. And, you get a thunderstorm. It sort of switches things up a little bit. It's kind of nice. I wanted to continue my discussion around being a noticer and just noticing things as we're going through our day. And I had set a goal the other day on the episode that I would notice at least 10 things. And of course, you're going to notice, as you're working through it, you're noticing a whole lot more than 10. But, yeah, man, I did. I noticed 10 things that I had jotted down in my phone and just kind of wanted to keep track of, more or less. Now, I don't remember everything from the other day, but, just to name off a few. And the whole reason, why I wanted to do this was to create just a little bit more presence and awareness and peace, as I'm walking through the day, because, like I said before, we see things as we go about. We see it, but we don't see them, We see things out and about. We see flowers, trees, people, whatever, animals, but we don't notice them all the time. We see it, but it just we get so caught up in our day that we don't really interpret what we're seeing. So I felt like this challenge kind of helped slow things down a little bit and just keep me keep my eyes focused on beautiful things throughout the day. And some things, like, to some people probably wouldn't be so crazy beautiful or anything like that, but just to me, it's things that, like, just kind of make my life, or just like thoughts that I've had throughout my days. So I know I'd mentioned on the last episode, but I did jot him down, was this gentleman that he always wears like a trucker hat and a flannel, and I always see him walking, on my way to work. I didn't see him this morning, actually, probably because it's raining. But it's just cool to know that other people, even older gentlemen, are out here getting their exercise in the morning. It's inspiring. It's like, okay, yeah, if this guy can do it, so can I. Another thing I noticed was there's a gentleman that we always see when we go to these concerts downtown. We call him Batman. And he's an odd guy, I will say. He wears a trench coat. He used to carry around like a walking stick. And then he wears like these like 90s athletic sunglasses. And he's an older gentleman, but I actually saw him walking, as I was driving through Uptown here. And him and I, we'll stop and talk and just be like, hey man, how's everything going, man? God is good. So it was cool seeing him on my way to work the other morning. Another thing I had noticed, there's a gentleman that parks. He actually works for the building that I work in, and he always kind of parks far out the way I do, and I noticed that he really likes Ford Broncos, and it seems like I think he's had 2 or 3 since I've worked there, but you could just tell he always takes good care of his car, and I don't know, man, it's just kind of cool, because that's a little bit how I am as well. Just like to take good care of my car, and I feel like it's a reflection of me, and I'm sure he feels the same. So while noticing that, I also noticed, and this is something that I've been doing recently, is that I park out like as far away from my work building as I possibly can. 1, to get some steps in, but 2, just because I feel like it kind of creates a little bit of separation, so when I'm going to lunch or whatever, I can just go out to my car and kind of get a nice little break. And then also, I don't want people to ding up my car either, so. But in noticing that, how far out I park, the farther out I park, I don't know how you say it. The more far out you park, the less people there are. And I think that's a nice theme for life. Like, the farther out that you explore, the less people there are. So it's kind of like the extra mile, The more you go the extra mile, the less people there are, if that makes any sense. And I'm trying to like walk through my day to remember everything that I noticed. But as I was walking in, so I parked. I'm walking into the building. There was a lady. She doesn't work for my company, but she works in the building. She was carrying an iced coffee, and I'm holding the door for her. I'm just like, hey, you gotta have your coffee. How's your day going? You gotta have your coffee. And I just remember her saying, like, it made her chuckle a little bit. She was like, yeah, this is my treat for coming in on a Wednesday or something. She said something along the lines of that. I just thought that was cool, man. Even though, I don't know her, she don't know me. We don't even work for the same company. But just to kind of share like a little laugh or smile before we had to go to work for the day. So that was kind of cool. As I was waiting for the elevator, so she took the stairs up into the building. I usually just take the elevator. One of the IT guys for my company, his name's Fred, he had stepped in the elevator with me, and I just noticed, and I've noticed this before, but I noticed it again, just how kind he is to me. He's a kind gentleman. He's always very busy. Understandably, he's in IT. But he's just always so kind to me, and, he doesn't have to be. So I appreciate him for that, and, it just creates a little relief for the day, pressure relief. So I say all that, and I know that's not 10 things. There was a few other things that I just can't really remember right now, but I say all that to say, like, be a noticer, man. Notice things around you. Don't just keep walking through life day by day and not noticing the people in your path, the animals in your path, the beautiful scenery, I know I named a lot of people, but there's a lot of scenery that you notice when you're aware of it. When you slow down, just take a second, maybe you take a deep breath, and you notice things. Life is already fast-paced. Society is fast-paced. Why not take a second for yourself and just notice the things around you? Notice what's going on, man. Maybe there's a whole world out there that you just overlook because you're so busy and caught up in your own head that you're just walking right by things, driving right by things, and you don't even know. You don't even know it. And again, one thing that's really kind of helped me was just taking walks outside. It's really opened my eyes up to the things that I overlook, man. It kind of forces you to be aware of your surroundings, obviously. Especially in the mornings when you're walking in the park and you're the only person there and it's pitch black outside. You have to be aware of your surroundings. But it's been nice because I've been able to really kind of notice little things that I overlook, And most things, I believe, are being done for the good, everything I just talked about, everything that I said I noticed, there was somebody behind those things who was just trying to do good, And to me, that's a representation of love. Even as small as like, the lady and I just kind of joking about coffee. The guy who likes his Ford Bronco. Another thing I forgot to mention, I had noticed there's a school that I drive by, and their whole football team was out practicing, and it was 7:30 in the morning. For them, they're just trying to get better. Coaches are trying to instill discipline. So, most things are just done out of love, man. And I think that we overlook the love that's around us, and media and society and all this stuff wants to teach that, there's more hatred out there and all this negativity, and you got to be aware of all the negative stuff that's going on in the world. But I think if we slow down and really slow down, we can see that most things are created out of love, or people just doing good in the world, and I hope that makes sense, because I've really been thinking about this a lot. So, if you noticed, I think if you noticed that I've dropped like multiple episodes this week, it is just that. It's me trying to do what I think is best for me. And we're all just out here trying to do good for ourselves, unless you're just a shitty human who just doesn't care about anyone or themselves. And it's hard for me to think that, I think everybody's just out here trying to do the best that they can for themselves. But you got to slow down and realize that there's love going on around you that you're just overlooking. You're seeing it, but you're not noticing it. You're not really taking a second to really kind of hone in on what makes it love. So, I want to slow down, man. I'm so tired of living at this such fast-paced life all the time. I want to slow down, and I want to notice the beautiful, good, kind love that is just surrounding me. Instead of constantly trying to run away from things, which I do. I've done. I've talked about this. If I'm always trying to escape things, it's most likely because I'm not slowing down to a pace to where I can notice the things that are good around me. Taking time to breathe. Taking time to just slow down. And, we have schedules. We have places to be, times that we have to be there. But, man, we'll be there. We'll get there. Life is right now. Life is in this moment. Not 20 minutes from now. I gotta clock in here and I gotta be there at 8, I'll get there. I'll get there, man. But I'm not there yet. I'm right here. Right here. And the more I stay here, the more I can notice things that are also right here with me, and I'm not so alone when I'm noticing the things that are also in the present moment that I'm in, and I don't feel so alone. I think those lonely feelings come from not seeing or recognizing that other things are right there in the moment with you. Whether it's a dog, a tree, some water, a person, a person's action. But you got to be in the moment, man. And it takes slowing down to be in that moment. It takes slowing down to be in the moment. And only you can decide that. We got these smartphones, we got social media, we got everybody's new favorite show, we got the new album that dropped, we got all this stuff that's just going on around us, and it's just stuff. We have to learn to make the choice for ourselves to slow down, disengage sometimes. It's nice to watch the show that everybody, it's nice to watch the game. It's nice to whatever. But you got to slow down and just slow down, really. You got to just slow down, man, and realize where you're at and where you're headed. Where your head is pointed, Slow down, man, and notice the beautiful things that are around you. So that's it, man. I don't know if I'll do another episode this week. Probably not. I feel like I kind of I don't want to do too many to where it's just like kind of gets overlooked. But then again, all the stuff is really for me anyway, so. But yeah, man. I hope you guys have a good Friday. I know I'm about to. And I'm going to notice. I want to try to notice 10 more things today. And so far, I've already jotted down like 2 or 3. So. Yeah, man. Let's be a noticer. Let's be present. Let's take a breath. And just, see the love that surrounds us, that we're overlooking. So, much love. Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Go check out our new song that we dropped today. And, we'll talk soon. Peace.